powered by Riverside.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome into a brand new episode of the Broken Wheel Bearing Podcast. As I'm your host, Matt Codd, and alongside of me has been my co-host all season long for actually majority of the season. Sorry about that, 75% of the season. Jake Belts. What's up, Jake? What's going on?
What's up, man? It's an exciting week. I'm pumped for this podcast. Very, very happy guy sitting over here in this chair this
Yeah,
week.
unfortunately, I'm not. So we're gonna have both sides of the fence here. You know, of course, you come in with that Larson apparel, but at the same time, honestly, a great weekend down in Martinsville. Martinsville does not disappoint whatsoever. And I will say this: so before what was it, 2019? It was the first race at a round of 8, right? Martinsville was, and I always felt that Martinsville was in a good spot in the round of 8, no matter what. And then in 2020, when they did the elimination race at Martinsville, it changed my perspective of what my love of this sport really is. Absolutely. And listen, Jake, we talked about it last year. We took the show on the road to the round of 8 elimination race down in Martinsville. The atmosphere at that track, and I've been to the sprint race. Sprint race is fun. Don't get me wrong. Love it. The atmosphere in the fall race is absolutely immaculate. It is absolutely a spectacle show. If you have not been to the elimination race in Martinsville, or if you've never been to Martinsville, you just got to go. It is absolutely fantastic. I think, to me personally, I think that's one of NASCAR's probably one of their best moves that they've made, was putting that as the elimination race, because I think back in 2020 or 2019 when it was, and I think the round of 8 was Martinsville. I know Phoenix was in there. I can't remember if Phoenix was the elimination race or not. And I know there was another track in the round of 8. If you're listening to us live, check in onto our Blown Engine chat line to stat check me on that one. But Jake, yeah, great weekend down in Martinsville. We have our round of 4 that will be competing the upcoming weekend at Phoenix. All roads lead to heavyweights. Everyone loves the top dogs in the sports, right? I know we all love Cinderella stories. We all love like the Rocky Balboas of the world. But Jake, I'm going to tell you right now, give me this heavyweight battle between Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports. What is your opening statements on tonight's show?
No, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to go back to the round of 8. I think the round of 8 was a heavyweight battle itself. I think those guys that were in that round of 8 right now are the best 8 guys.
I agree.
Now, there are little stragglers that could have made it in, yes, but this didn't. I just think this round of 8 this year proved to NASCAR fans that these are the best 8 drivers right now. But going to the Final Four, yeah, man, it's a huge Joe Gibbs versus Hendrick, and I'm a little nervous for Joe Gibbs. They have had hiccups in these last few races. Their guys get in, mechanical issues. So I'm a little nervous. Don't get me wrong, it could happen to anybody any day, but if there was 2 organizations that I think could go up and fight for this, these are the 2 worthy of doing it. And I think there's 4 drivers, and any one of them could win. I couldn't even I know we pick drivers at the end of the day, and you already know who I'm going to pick, but I couldn't even tell you who I think is going to win this race. I think it's going to be a fist fight to that last lap.
And to add fuel to the fire, right? We've seen Denny Hamlin race for so many years with so many great rivalries internally within Joe Gibbs Racing. You had Kyle Busch, you had Denny Hamlin. Awesome. That was an internal Joe Gibbs Racing organization rivalry. Then in 2020, you had Kevin Harvick, you had Denny Hamlin. Harvick never made it to the round of 4. But what has been the rivalry of Denny Hamlin since the 2021 season? Who has been the number 11's biggest thorn in his side? The 5.
You're looking on my shirt.
The 5. And now you add that, not just do you have Joe Gibbs Racing against Hendrick Motorsports, which, again, these are the 2 premier organizations in NASCAR. They both have 4 charters. They both are the top flight organizations. When we talk about NASCAR teams in the top cup level series, who are the 2 organizations everyone talks about? Well, it's Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports. So you have that in the Final Four. But now you add more fuel to the fire with the Hamlin and Larson rivalry. This is, to be honest with you, this is one of the best, in my opinion. This is the best Final Four I think any fan could have gotten. I'm sorry if you're a Ford Racing fan, if you're a Team Penske fan. Unfortunately, it just did not work for you in the round of 8. You can't have mistakes, and we'll talk about that later in the show. All throughout the round of 8, because there was multiple drivers who walked away from the round of 8 that did not make it to the championship 4 due to mistakes.
Yep.
Jake, before we get started tonight, though, in our discussion, I made an announcement on Facebook. We had a special announcement on tonight's show. And for everyone who has been tuning in to us, for everyone who has been joining us, live every single week, we're looking to always grow. We're always looking to expand. And Jake and I, we've been talking back and forth. How do we continue getting better? Well, after this season, in the off season, we will be looking for a producer. That's right. We are looking for a producer / a social media presence personality that would like to join the Broken Wheel Bearing podcast in the 2026 season. If you are interested, you love NASCAR, feel like you can do this every single week, talk to us, talk about fast cars going around in circles and road courses, and that's VG's case. Feel free to IM us on Facebook at the Broken Wheel Bearing podcast. We'll definitely love to interview you this off season because, like I said, the off season starts basically next week, man. It really does. Yeah. And it went by that quickly. Again, Broken Wheel Bearing podcast will be looking for a part-time producer / social media presence in the 2026 season. Come join our awesome growing podcast. Get on board before we start getting taken off. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to get there, folks. We are going to get there. So if you're interested, again, IM us at the Broken Wheel Bearing podcast or find me on Facebook, Matt Codd. IM me in there as well if you're interested in joining our show with us. So, Jake, that's the big announcement I wanted to make tonight. Looking forward to hopefully more growth and more engagement through the audience and making sure that we're always providing you the top content as a podcaster in this wonderful sport. Man, do I love NASCAR. I can tell you that right now. But, Jake, before we get into Martinsville round of 8 discussions this week, we do have a announcement that was made yesterday. Really interesting one right here. Kaulig Racing has officially announced that they will be pausing their Xfinity Series program in 2026. The article is on jski.com. And it basically announced that Kaulig Racing will pause its Xfinity Series program for the 2026 O'Reilly Auto Parts Series season. Team sources have confirmed to JSki. Since debuting in the series full-time in 2016, Kaulig has won 27 races in 10 seasons, including a pair of regular season championships from AJ Allmendinger in 2021 and in 2022. Oh. Sorry about that. I think give me a second. We'll turn the mic down a little bit.
My bad. I had it all the way up.
No, you're good. Oh. Sorry about that, folks. We're going through a technical difficulty.
Yeah, that's my fault. My bad.
The California native, AJ Allmendinger, again, he won the regular season championship in 2021 and 2022. The California native made a pair of championship 4 appearances with the team, placing 3rd in the championship battle in 2024. Justin Haley made the team's first bid at a championship back in 2020. Neither Christian Eckes or Daniel Dye, the 2 full-time regulars in 2025, made the playoffs this season. Eckes led the way with 6 top 5s and 15 top 10s. Josh Williams, he ended up departing with Kaulig back in August. Kaulig will transition to a Craftsman Truck Series in 2026, running 5 full-time trucks with the Ram brand and Stellantis. Brendan Queen, who has competed in Kaulig's number 11 car 4 times since Williams' departure, was announced as one of the team's drivers earlier this month. The remainder of the lineup will be announced at a later date, though Dye is expected to remain within the organization and jump back down to trucks. So, Kaulig Racing, we heard about them earlier this year. They were the first domino to fall back to the Ram Stellantis brand. Jake, really disappointing to see that they're not going to be able to keep up their Xfinity Series program, but kind of a conflict of interest with them running Chevrolets in the Xfinity Series, with them going to Ram in the truck. What do you think about this move from Kaulig?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little weird. It's something that kind of like makes your head turn, like, why? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're thinking like let's get bigger in one. Maybe they're more of a let's dominate in one series and then go back up. But they didn't do bad in the Xfinity series. I mean, like the stats you just said. I mean, what happened? Do they still have those charters? I haven't really heard much about this. I didn't really read into it much, but like, what about the Xfinity cars they had? Is somebody else racing, or there's going to be those cars short?
So most likely, what we're probably going to see is you're probably going to see colleague. I mean, with this pause, it's kind of interesting. Nothing has been mentioned in regards to what the charter release is going to be. I don't know if they're keeping the charters open for colleague until Ram does get a car to get into the Xfinity Series program, or not Xfinity, excuse me, the O'Reilly Auto Parts program. Excuse me, folks. But this is an organization to me that's a very elite organization within that lower level series. 27 wins in 10 seasons, Jake. 27 wins in 10 seasons. Multiple championship four appearances, multiple regular season championships, two from AJ Allmendinger. You had Haley in the championship four back in 2020. They averaged 2.7 wins a year. Losing this organization now, I mean, it's going to be pretty interesting because they are probably one of the top teams in that program, in that level. Junior Motorsports is probably doing jumping jacks. Same with Richard Childress Racing, who are kind of the cream of the crop at this point in that series. It's very it's disappointing because you
Yeah,
never want to
I
see
agree.
an elite organization leave a level like that.
Hmm.
But if again, sometimes you have to take a step backwards to go forwards.
Yeah,
And with
maybe that's what they're
colleague,
doing.
you got to get all your ducks in a row with the Stellantis brand and with Ram and Dodge. And well, I mean, who knows what the car is going to be when they come back with Stellantis. But yeah, pretty. I don't want to say surprising news coming out of the garage this week, but in my opinion, kind of a disappointing announcement. I'm interested to see where, like I said, I know Eckes. He most likely will go back to the trucks. I'm interested to see where Daniel Dye ends up. Dye was in the Craftsman Truck Series back in 2024. He made the jump in 2025. Not really an impressive season from the young driver, but at the same time, what I have to think about is you're most likely going to see both these guys. I would say with 5 charters in the Truck Series. uh, Brendan Queen's locked one of them up. I definitely can see both of them going back to the trucks. And man, what a driver lineup that's going to be for colleague in 2026. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, I just think you're taking talent away from the Xfinity series, which sucks. You're taking a team away that's shown their successes. So, I mean, it'll be
Well,
interesting to watch and see. But obviously, in the truck series, you're going to see that they got 5 cars out there. It's going to be they got a high advantage of winning, a larger percentage to do a lot better. But I don't really like taking that. I don't like it because you look at Xfinity series as guys that are almost they're at the level right below where you can be with the best of the best.
well, you're in
And now you're
AAA
kind of
essentially.
taking guys back out of that. You're stepping aside, and it's like, well, why? Like you said, you're averaging 2.5 wins a year in your team. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird to me.
Well, no, I think you bring up a good point on why it's weird. Because I was just saying there could be a conflict of interest between Stellantis and Ram and Chevrolet. There could be. But colleague's not walking away from the Cup Series. So is colleague racing going to be running Chevrolets in the Cup, and they're going to be running Ram in the Truck Series?
Uh,
Very odd situation,
so
and I
it
get
is a conflict of interest, honestly.
it's going to be, especially if Stellantis ends up getting their cars together and making a Xfinity / Cup Series debut. But again, I think this all points to all signs are pointing that Colleague Racing is the official domino to drop. That they're all in with Ram. They're gonna get every manufacturer support from Ram, similar to what Gibbs did basically back in 2007, excuse me, with Toyota. So it's a good move. We knew that Chevrolet stable was getting really, really log jammed, and there wasn't enough funding from manufacturer support to go around. You knew one of these organizations were going to make the jump, and Colleague was the first organization to do it. So if you're just tuning into us live, if you haven't heard yet, Colleague Racing will be pausing their uh, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series program starting in 2026. So, all right, here we go. The bread and butter of our show. The bread and butter of our show, man. Oh, God. Martinsville in the finale of the round of 8 with the championship for Lumen tonight on our Broken Wheel Brand podcast discussion. Opening statement, Jake, about Martinsville. Let's talk about the race in general. I'm going to open up with you. What do you think about Sunday in general?
Probably one of the best Martinsville races I've watched in years.
Is that because Blaney didn't win?
Well, I mean that, but I mean I can't knock the guy. The guy raced incredibly. He gave his all. Became one position short, unfortunate for him, but hurt me because I am in the Final Four. So, no, it was. I thought it was phenomenal racing. I mean, what more can you say than the name of William Byron?
Yeah.
You want to talk about domination? That race on Sunday was pure grit. I got to win this race, and I'm dominating it, and I'm leading. What was that? 85% of the laps, maybe a little more than that.
Yeah.
That was incredible. And you don't see that there. Really. You know what I mean? 300 plus laps led. Like the guy was incredible. I mean, there was a lot of different strategies when it came to the 8 cars that were in the round of 8 that day. And some of the guys, like I'll use Larson as an example, just kind of floated around that top 10. He just stayed ahead of one guy and he just made it work. He did not have to win the race. And then you had 4 guys that had to win that race.
Yeah. No.
I guess 5 because Bell had to win unless Larson
Bell had
DNF,
to win, yeah.
but or was more than 2 positions behind him. But still, 4 guys had to win that game, had to win that race.
Well, and I think that's what makes this race so much more entertaining and so much more fascinating as the elimination race in the round of 8, right? Before we get into my topic of conversation, start off tonight, let's take a look at you talk about William Byron. Let's take a look at the box score, the official box score of the Xfinity 500 from courtesy of NASCAR.com. William Byron was your winner of the race, followed up by Ryan Blaney. Chase Elliott finished 3rd. Ross Chastain finished 4th. Kyle Larson finished 5th. Ryan Preece finished 6th. Christopher Bell finished 7th. Joey Logano finished 8th. Todd Gilliland finished 9th. And Josh Berry finished 10th. Your top 10 in stage 1, well, it was Byron who won stage 1, followed up by Logano, Larson, Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Todd Gilliland, Austin Cindric. Your stage 2 top 10 was William Byron, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Todd Gilliland, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, Shane Van Gisbergen, Tyler Reddick, and Eric Jones. The official laps led in this race. Jake, you talked about it, hot topic of conversation. Well, that went to William Byron with 304 laps led. Then Ryan Blaney led 177. You had Ross Chastain lead 8. Tyler Reddick led 6. Michael McDowell led 5. Those are your final stat lines, courtesy of NASCAR.com from the official box score of the Xfinity 500. So my opening statement is this. After watching the race and what happened during the race in general, and watching all of our playoff drivers, yes, it's easy to look at the top 3 with Byron, Blaney, Elliott. Playoff drivers finished 1, 2, and 3. But then we had other playoff drivers in Kyle Larson. We had Christopher Bell and Joey Logano, who all finished in the top 10 too. So there's 6 drivers right there. The other 2, Hamlin and Briscoe, are a non-factor because of mechanical issues, which may not be a good sign going into Phoenix. All 8 of these 6 out of these 8 playoff drivers, and I would actually say all 8 of these playoff drivers went into this race on Sunday. Unfortunately, 2 of them had mechanical failures. You got to write it off. Every single one of them had the intent to go win that race. They had opportunities to go win that race. But my opening statement tonight is going to be this. Champions prevail. If you want to be a champion in this sport, in any sport in general, back against your wall, what do you have to do? Well, I got to prove the world wrong. That's what William Byron did on Sunday. We kind of wrote William Byron. I don't know if you did. I know I did. I've said for the last couple of weeks, I said, dude, this is not 2023. This is not 2024 William Byron. This is 2025 William Byron, and the data does not lie. William Byron went down there with the intent of, I'm going to be the best car. I'm going to offload off the truck and have the most fast. I'm going to have the fastest car, not just all day, but all weekend. Qualified first, qualified on the pole for this race. Won stage 1 and 2, and led up 304 laps. There is nothing more that William Byron could have done to basically show you, no, I want to be a champion of this sport. I want to be a champion of the sport. And again, when your back is against the wall, this is where I need the athletes to always adapt to that opportunity. We have seen it since Martinsville has been the elimination race in the round of 8. We have seen it 4 of the last 5 years. Drivers below the cut line winning this race.
Yeah.
2020, Chase Elliott won this race below the cut line. 21, Bowman won. Unfortunately, was not in the round of 8. Great end of the race celebration between him and Hamlin. That was hysterical. 2022, Christopher Bell below the cut line won this race. 2023, what do we see? Ryan Blaney. 2024, Ryan Blaney, both times below the cut line. And now this week we saw William Byron below the cut line win this race.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go off your first day. I didn't X out Byron, but I definitely did not see him winning this race. Because the amount of guys that come into Martinsville and are not, they're hard to beat. Like, you got Elliott's, you got Blaney's, you got Larson's. Like, you got guys that for the last few years aren't easy to beat on this track. And for him to come out and do that, I mean, it's just, I can't even think of words to put into it. I mean, I don't think I've seen a Martinsville race dominate like this in, like I said, years. And and look at the gap he had on guys on restarts, pulling 4 or 5 car lengths ahead of guys after turn 2, like gone. It was incredible.
So it's very interesting too, because I think that at one point, I think William Byron and Rudy Fugle said it best. They credited Chase Elliott for understanding how to run faster in the turns at Martinsville, which essentially was a Jeff Gordon strategy. William Byron pulled that strategy all race. What did he run in the Martinsville turns? You hear it all the time at different tracks. Well, this driver's got this line. You're running the Kevin Harvick line in Old Atlanta. You're running this line. William Byron was running the diamond cut, right? Fastest way to get around those turns is basically go in and cut it like a diamond, right? But the driver that finished second, Ryan Blaney, runs Martinsville completely different. Ryan Blaney, what does he do? And we've heard about this on air. We heard it through different drivers and press conferences. Ryan Blaney hugs the line every single time he's in a turn. Hugs it. Does not get off that line at all. So he sweeps the turn while William Byron cuts the diamond, which was basically a strategy that was taught by Jeff Gordon. And it was really cool to see both those drivers in the front of that race basically run 2 different lines. And it basically showed you what line was basically going to get you into Phoenix for a chance at a championship.
Yep.
This year, it was the diamond. The last 2 years, it was Ryan Blaney sweeping the turns. But going back to what you were saying with William Byron, yes, I wrote him off multiple times in this playoffs. I said, dude, the luck is just run out. Look what happened at Vegas. There's no way there's no chance in hell you're going to come back from what you just did and, expect to win one of these races. Yeah, he's won at Martinsville twice in his career, but not in an expanded opportunity the way that he did down in Martinsville. I mean, that is a pressure cooker situation. You have to be, when you're below the cut line, you have to be nearly flawless. And I didn't expect to see that from William Byron with how many mistakes that 24 team has done throughout this playoff run and realistically all throughout 2025. We've gone all through the season. When is William Byron going to get hot? When is he going to be the one when is he going to step up and be 2025 or 2024, 2023 William Byron? We haven't seen that all season. So it was very hard for me to sit there and be like you said, it was tough for me to cross him out. But at the same time, I didn't expect to see what I saw from the 24. They legitimately did not fuck around at all. They legitimately said, no, we need, in order to win this in order to get to the championship 4, you're winning the damn race. You have to win the race. Pit road strategies were absolutely on point by him and Rudy Fugle. The car out of all the cars, his car just didn't lose speed the whole day.
Oh,
You saw some of them drop off in speed as the race went on later in the day, track cooling and all that type of stuff. But then when you see what I saw from William Byron, it was absolutely remarkable.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, I mean, you made a really, really good point later in the race when it did get cooler and started getting into the night. Yeah, that you did see guys who were like, I was like watching some guys. I'm like, Byron doesn't look like he missed a step, and I'm looking at other guys that I'm like, guys that you wouldn't think would miss a step or like, what's going on? You know what I mean? You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. I mean, like it's easy for me to sit there and nitpick the Joe Gibbs Racing cars of Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin, right? I mean, unfortunately, they just had mechanical failures. The track temperature didn't impact their day, but the other drivers, like I mean, Chase Elliott had a lot of speed in practice all on Saturday. He topped all the practice charts. He did, and it just did not translate into Sunday's race. I mean, you need more data than just 15 lap spread. And when you look at Bob Pockerson from Fox Sports and you see his like top 5 and like top practice charts and all that, I mean, it's only 15 laps. That's not a big enough sample size, and that's the thing that's scary with the 24. He throughout this whole race just never died off with speed, ever.
Yeah, no, he was on point from start to finish. Yeah, I mean, Blaney gave him a run for a little bit for those 100-some laps, but at the end of the day, I knew that Byron was going to catch him.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. But I mean, like again, when we talk about William Byron and like what he has done in the 2025 playoffs, right? Going into throughout the 9 races in the 2025 playoffs, all stats courtesy of the Brooklyn Wilburn podcast. 2025 in his playoff run, he had a 14.3 average finish with 1 win in nine races in the playoffs. 14.3 is not a higher average finish than some of the guys that got eliminated. We'll just say that. But William Byron's regression in the playoffs starting in 2020 from 2023 when he broke out all the way until this season. Here are these stats. 2023, William Byron had a 6.1 average finish in the playoffs with 1 win at Texas. In 2024, he had an 8.7 average finish with 0 wins. In 2025, 14.3 average finish with the 1 win at Martinsville. So you saw the regression continue to progress, and it kind of was a staple in the story of what he did in 2025. So it was very difficult to take this as an opportunity to go, yeah, you know what, William Byron's going to go to Martinsville and completely dominate that race. What he did, again, it kind of goes back to my opening statement. If you want to be a champion of the sport, back against the wall, you need to show the world that you're able to overcome adversity. That's what the 24 did on Sunday. Never got into trouble. Had no issues on pit road. Followed his line as best as he could. And just never lost speed even when the track temperatures were dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Well done by William Byron. I give him a lot of credit. For someone that said, I don't think William Byron's going to win this race, proved me wrong. Definitely proved me wrong. Oh, yeah.
No, he raced like a championship caliber driver should race. And when it matters.
So let's talk about the other drivers that ended up advancing into the round of 4. We just talked about William Byron. We saw what he did at the end of in this race in Martinsville. Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe were really a non-factor once they had mechanical failures. As I said before, man, oh man, if you're Team Toyota and you're Joe Gibbs Racing, this is probably the worst time in the world for you to start having mechanical failures with those cars, especially when one of your drivers is trying to chase for a championship, his first championship. But other drivers I was pretty interested in, the 5. Let's talk about Kyle Larson a little bit. I think, like you said, Kyle Larson ran the race essentially. I think you told me this after Sunday. I don't want to take your words away from you. But Kyle Larson ran the race exactly what he needed to do. We're going to be conservative, stay ahead of the 20. If we do that, we have enough points and ammunition to get into the round of 4.
Yep.
Was there anything that you saw Was there anything that you saw from Kyle Larson in this race that you were surprised with, or anything like that?
I mean, I still think that Larson raced the race like he always does in Martinsville. I feel like as long as in the sport, he's always going to be a top 5 threat when it comes to racing at Martinsville. But yeah, I mean, I was watching that race, watching him. I mean, I know I try to go back and listen and watch him and Cliff's talk on the radio. I watch it after the race. So you don't hear it during the race at all unless they chime in. But basically, all day was you're not racing 38 cars. You're racing one, and you got to beat that one car. And for him, why go out there and push your car to the limit and try to catch a car like Byron that probably you didn't have the car to beat him?
Yeah.
So why not just try to beat one guy instead of 38 guys? You know what I mean? So I feel like
Yeah.
he raced it the right way he should have. He was up front all day long. He was up there with those guys all day long. So I think he raced the race the smart way. Why
Yeah.
try to cause something that's going to happen? Why try to be like Carson Hocevar? You're racing for nothing. You're in every fucking wreck. Daniel Suarez, you ain't racing for shit. You're in every wreck. Like, why? There's no point. Why race that hard? Just float around up front and stay in front of the 20 car. And he did it perfect.
Well, like I said, keyword conservative. Very conservative day from the 5. And as you said, I mean, hey, we're not racing 38 cars. We're racing one car. Get ahead of them. Stay ahead of them. And Kyle Larson did everything he needed to do to make sure he punched his ticket to Phoenix, right? We don't have 4 different winners. There was only 3 in this round. And it was William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe. Larson was probably the best off of points. And again, he took advantage of the situation. When I mean conservative too, folks, finished stage 1 in third, stage 2 in second, qualified third, finished 5th. Pretty even Steven. We hit a single. We're in the championship 4. Let's focus on Phoenix now. Not a bad day from Kyle Larson whatsoever. Now the other thing too that was pretty interesting is there was multiple drivers below the cut line that I thought had fantastic days. And one of them is driver number 12, Ryan Blaney, right? Ryan Blaney is so, I don't know what it is with this elimination race at Martinsville. Ryan Blaney is so successful at this track in this predicament, right? Won the last 2 races at this track, finished second. Honestly, I thought we were going for a 3-peat with Ryan Blaney at this track this year. Led 177 laps. Ended up getting passed by William Byron. Now, there is a lot of Blaney fans that were bitching and complaining on Monday morning about how William Byron raced them. And they were complaining that, Byron ran him up the track and all that type of stuff. Listen, folks, it is Martinsville. It is Martinsville. You're beating and banging. It's either, and especially in this environment, you need to win. And yeah, the driver of the 24 ended up beating and banging. And you know what? He got fed up with Ryan Blaney. Guess what he did? Pushed him right up the track, and guess who got underneath of him? William Byron.
Well, not to cut you off, but if you're a Blaney fan, listen to his post-race interview. He said it for you. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, if you're below the cut line, who wouldn't?
Yeah. So Ryan Blaney was like, not mad, not pissed. He's like, I was slower than him, and like you just said, he's probably getting freaking irritated. So he put me up. He wanted to get around me. And do I think Byron did it the cleanest way you could? Yes.
I agree. If that was Carson Hocevar, he'd probably be in the wall.
Yeah. Carson Hocevar was the reason a lot of people were almost in the wall.
Okay, off topic from the playoff drivers. I mean, was there any post-race interview that was better than Jeff Gordon's at the end of this race?
Oh, it was hilarious.
I lost track of how many times 77 was involved in a wreck on Sunday.
Yeah.
My God. I mean, him and Suarez got collected. I'm like, you guys are teammates next year.
Yeah.
You guys are teammates.
Well, that's the thing. I'm listening to the guys talking, and I'm like, and they'll be talking like, oh, another caution. And then all you hear is, Daniel Suarez in a 99 involved. Like, I think I said his name 10 times, and all it has to do with cautions.
So there was 3 of them on Sunday that I'm like, oh, wow, shocker. I mean, here we Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Carson Hocevar. I mean, Those are the 3 names that you heard all day. But going back to Blaney, though, yeah, no, I totally agree. His post-race interview said it best. He's like, listen, in a situation like that, I would have done the same thing. You have to.
Yep.
Why would you go to Martinsville and be like, if you're below the cut line, why would you go to Martinsville and race second? If you have an opportunity to get in the lead, you got to go in the lead, late in the race especially.
Oh yeah.
And William Byron made an incredible move, and it's funny because it's the fan base that would said, NASCAR died with Dale. Well, Dale Earnhardt probably would have done the same shit if he was in these formats. Would have done the same stuff, folks. He wasn't in the same format. He put Terry Labonte and just wanted to rattle his cage.
Yeah, it's true.
So when I look at William Byron, or not William Byron, excuse me, folks, Ryan Blaney. When I look at Ryan Blaney, he did everything he needed to do to win that race. Unfortunately, I thought that he definitely had the hardest hill to climb because he started this race in 31st. Out of all the playoff drivers, he was the last playoff driver in the running order. But again, there's that 12 car. Once again, it does not matter where Ryan Blaney is on that track in this environment at that type of race. He is going to find his way to the front. He is always fast. He's going to be a problem there if this elimination race is going to be at Martinsville for years to come, which it looks like it's going to be.
It should be.
It should be. Maybe a show on the road next year, by the way.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's Ryan Blaney there's other guys that race this track really well. But if there's one guy that I knew that could start from the rear and is going to be a factor at the end of the race, it was him. I knew he was going to get up there.
Oh, it was a matter of time. It was just a matter of time. Yep, it was a matter of time.
He just didn't. And yes, was he the second best car? 100%. He was just not a better car than Byron. And again, post-race interview said it himself. I was not faster than that 24, and he deserves to be where he's at. He said all four guys deserve to be in it. They were the four best drivers this year. He's like, and it's a good he said it perfect actually. And I might have butchered his words here, but he said it. Those four guys are the best representation for NASCAR for this championship this year.
So it's very interesting. Going off that point, I got the courtesy of NASCAR.com. I got stats up, right? So the four drivers in the championship for Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Kyle Larson. William Byron was the regular season points champion. William Byron also led the circuit in laps led with 1,278 laps. Second in laps led in the series in 2025 was Kyle Larson at 1,106. Chase Briscoe led 881 laps. He led, and he had the most amount of pole. He started on the pole the most in this season. And Denny Hamlin, while he led 816, he led fewer laps than Ryan Blaney. Denny Hamlin led the series in wins in 2025. So if we talked about earlier in the show, heavyweight battle between Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports with this championship four. Well, the four best drivers in this series made it to the championship four. There's no question. We're not going in this week going, well, there's one driver I can definitely circle out of it.
No.
You can't. And honestly, even if Blaney made it, if Larson, if Byron didn't win this race and Blaney did, okay, the regular season points champion didn't get into the Final Four once again, but Ryan Blaney is also a good representation of this would have been a great representation of the Final Four. 3 wins on the season, 831 laps led. He would have been a massive factor. The only difference, and this is where I think Blaney got screwed up on points because Blaney led the series in DNFs. He had 8 this year.
Yeah.
He had 8 DNFs, and he's still running 6 in the points right now. I mean, it sucks for Blaney, but at the same time, like Blaney should not be he should be holding his head high in regards to what a successful season this was for him in his Cup career.
Exactly. I mean, what other name can you put on 8 DNFs amidst the round of 8 and finishes second in the race to go to the Final Four? I mean, at the end of the day, Blaney will probably sit back and be like, this probably wasn't one of my best years, which, correct. I mean, 8 DNFs isn't good. But, I mean, you still won 3 races. You were in the round of 8. You were always a factor, always a problem to be guys had to look out for. And you finished second to get to the Final Four. I mean, for a shitty situation I was in this year, he turned in to be successful, I think. Yeah. The cards that he was dealt, he played them fair.
Jake, I stand corrected. Cody Ware led the series in DNFs this year at 11. Okay. But again, that shows you exactly the type of driver skill set that is.
Yeah.
Cody Ware led the circuit with 11 DNFs. Second place was a tie between Daniel Suarez and Josh Berry at 9 DNFs, which is insane because Berry made the playoffs. And then there was a tie for third with DNFs, between Blaney and Bubba Wallace and Carson Hocevar, which no surprise there.
Yeah. When you race like a knucklehead, yeah, you're going to have that many.
Sorry, Carson Hocevar fans. I mean, we have to get our Hocevar shots in because next week we're not talking about him.
Nope.
Now I will say this too. Blaney again, he was below the cut line, gave it his all. Another driver, I will say this. And damn, I am pissed. I am pissed because I keep saying every year he's going to punch the door down and win this race, and that's Chase Elliott. Did everything he could to win this, put himself in a position to win the race. Surprisingly didn't lead a lap at Martinsville in this race at all, which is unlike Chase Elliott. Finished third, but it just overall the round of 8 struggles that he had as a team came in full display and put him in a win-in situation at Martinsville. You cannot have errors on pit road. And that's what cost the 9 in this round of 8. And I think the most disappointing thing for me and why I was so high on Chase Elliott, that win at Kansas. When he won that race at Kansas, usually we see Chase Elliott get wins taken away from him because he's too conservative. This time he was very aggressive, ends up winning the race, punches himself a ticket into the round of 8, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the monkey off his back. This is finally what the 9 needed. It's going to be momentum going into the round of 8. And wrong. And it all started with Vegas. A track he is really bad at, and he ends up qualifying in the top 5, is in the top 5 pretty much throughout stage 1, has a successful day going, and a loose tire on pit road, had to do a pass-through penalty, and that was the story of the round of 8 for him. Goes down to Talladega, where I felt very strongly about him winning that race. I don't take qualifying, folks, any consideration of qualifying at restrictor plate races. I don't take them serious because the field flips itself constantly and it rotates and rotates. But for Chase, wrong place, wrong time. Ends up getting knocked out of that race. He ends up DNFing and had to put all of his eggs in his basket in Martinsville. And what I was saying for Chase Elliott fans, it sucks because usually on Sunday we see the results. And what was the story of the 2025 season for the 9? It was, damn, if he just put it together on Saturday, he can translate it to Sunday, he's going to win races on Sunday. In my personal opinion, he did 2 out of those 3 races. He qualified very successfully, had great speed on Saturday, and was unable to capitalize on Sunday. One of them from a pit road error. The second one, his teammate was just light years ahead of him.
Yeah.
And it's going to be.
I still think he raced very, very well on Sunday. Just wasn't fast enough.
It just wasn't fast enough. And it's going to be another offseason, I guess, for Chase Elliott fans, myself included, that is going to be the question of what if? Are we ever going to see the 9 back in the championship 4? Is he still a championship caliber driver? And you
100%.
would think that he would be because he's at Hendrick Motorsports. His teammates are always running in the championship 4. But when is the 9 going to go back into the championship 4 himself? When is he going to start being the vocal point of Hendrick Motorsports again? After the 2020 season, we looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, decade of Chase Elliott. The monkey's off his back, won the championship. This is going to be a fun decade of NASCAR racing for Chase Elliott fans. And since then, he's gotten his butt beat by his teammate Kyle Larson in 2021. 2022, he ended up getting wrecked by Chastain in the championship race, ends up losing that. 23 ends up breaking his leg snowboarding, was never the same driver since. 24 gets to the round of 8, had a chance to win the race last year. Blaney beats him. And then this year, his teammate and Blaney beat him. And the sad part was that 9 car had momentum. And they killed it at Las Vegas. You can look back at Las Vegas and go, that was the momentum killer right there. For how high Chase Elliott fans were after Kansas and how successful that win was, the momentum killer for the 9 team in 2025 was Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, and I know you and me briefed on this on Sunday when we talked on the phone, but I think another reason why he could not get in front of or get come out after a cautionary stage leading is because, again, I don't think it was a great strategy. And we've talked about this before on here. Elliott, I just feel like they just don't ever – they come into a race, they're really fast, strategy sucks. And I think this week the part of the strategy that sucks was taking that last pit stall.
Well, agreed. And I'm
Because he
gonna-
gained
I
nothing, nothing.
Totally agree with that. And I get it. It's just like NFL and in the NFL, it's just like in baseball. You live and die by your strategy. And Alan Gustafson, I thought, had a very creative and clever strategy in 2025. He goes, you know what? I don't care where we pit. We will pit where we're in between two cars that are anticipated to go a lap down. This week he was pitting around Cody Ware. In theory, that's a great strategy. It doesn't always work. And you know why it doesn't always work? Because every car was on the lead lap and get in that first pit strategy or in that first pit stop. And guess who was there in front of him? Cody Ware. And guess what? They lost time on pit road because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so what you did for essentially in this race, and this comes down to all drivers. Alan Gustafson goes, you know what? We'll pit around lap cars because we want to be the first one in, first one out of pit road with less traffic late in the race. That's great. In quarter four, when you have less traffic around your driver on pit road, that's awesome because essentially you are the fastest car. You essentially have a position gain right there because you have no one pitting around you because the cars that are lapped down can't come down pit road with the lead lap cars. The problem is that you're sacrificing quarter one of a race for quarter four. And if your strategy does not execute properly, you're putting your driver behind the eight ball. That's what happened in this race. In quarter one, he got behind those leaders because he was pitting. Well, guess what? Guess who was there? Cody Ware.
Yeah, and the rest of the day, every time he went in the pit, even if they were bumper to bumper going in, Byron's got to go all the way around. And Byron was still pulling out with a car or two length in front of him. Like, you weren't gaining at all.
No, because you sacrificed quarter one for
Yep.
quarter four. And that's what happened with the 9. But it's the same thing on pit road. And like I'm hoping that maybe in the offseason, Alan Gustafson goes, yes, this worked for 2 years. This was a good strategy for 2 years. Guess what I need to do? I need to change up my strategy. We need to get better on Saturdays. We have to get better on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Like
use the narrative for football. You keep running the same play, keep running the same offense. Someone's going to eventually figure it out.
So my question to the audience tonight is, do you foresee possibly Hendrick Motorsports doing a crew chief swap after the end of the season? They've done it before in the past. Well, I mean, you do Blake Harris. I mean, that's the problem because, Rudy Fugle was handpicked by William Byron. Cliff Daniels was inherited by Kyle Larson, but they have such a good chemistry. It's almost like Canals and Jimmy Johnson. You don't want to trade that off.
No.
So Blake Harris, I don't know. I mean, it's just something, it's food for thought to think about. Like, would they do a crew chief swap? I mean, it might have to come down to that at this point. So all drivers perform at expectations at Hendrick Motorsports. But massive disappointment from Chase Elliott in the round of 8. I was massively disappointed, especially with how much momentum was going in from Kansas going into this round. Joey Logano, another playoff driver. He ended up finishing 8th in this race. I told you, Logano fans, I told you, it was Vegas or bust for you guys. He was going to do something very stupid at Talladega, which he did. And also he had no shot at winning Martinsville. So if you listen to actually the Broken Wheel Bearing podcast and you listen to what we actually say, we know what we're talking about.
Yep. Well, here,
Logano,
you want to hear something funny that I read this week, actually? Logano only makes the Final Four in years that end in an even number.
Yeah.
Go back to 2018. Go back from 2018 to now. Every other year. It's funny because Larson's the complete opposite. Since he's won in 2021, he's only made it in every odd year. So Logano fans, when it's an odd year, it ain't happening.
Yeah, well, next year's an even year, so
yeah. Let's break that.
If you go on the FanDuel app right now and you put in 2026 odds of championship drivers, I would just put my money on Joey Logano because it's an even year. I'm just saying. I don't know if we could stomach that, but Yeah, so that was pretty much the round of 8, or pretty much the race out of Martinsville. Our playoff drivers, like I said, 6 of the 8 ended up finishing in the top 10. Well done by all. I mean, I know that some of them got eliminated and all that, but well done. Every single one of them brought the fight to the race. They really did. 2 of them ended up having mechanical failures, and honestly, I feel like if Briscoe and Hamlin doesn't have a mechanical failure, both those drivers end up finishing in the top 10. You would have had all 8 playoff drivers, in my
Yeah.
opinion, in the top 10. Before we go into our championship for discussion and like preview, a couple of shout outs I want to give this week to drivers. First one, at Ross Chastain, he ended up finishing 4th in this race. He ran pretty well down there. I know Trackhouse, he got eliminated in the round of 12, but Trackhouse Racing, good momentum, probably moving forward for that one team. All around, pretty excited to see what Ross Chastain was able to do on Sunday. Another driver I really want to give special shout out to is Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland last week finished this Talladega in 2nd behind Chase Briscoe. He ended up finishing this race in 9th at Martinsville. Really underachieved, not Gilliland, but Front Row Motorsports in general. I thought they'd be a little bit better than what they were in 2025. But really good to see Todd Gilliland kind of finish kind of the season on a high note, kind of maybe translating some stuff maybe in the 2026. And I think that's some data that they can take away and maybe possibly make a run for a playoff next year.
Yeah. No, he really blew my mind away this week.
Yeah. I mean, the last 2 weeks, I mean, he's always good at restrictor plate, but this is an organization that, like I said, they underachieved in my mind. They did. And everyone's probably like, well, what do you mean Front Row Motorsports underachieved? There was no expectations to begin with. There kind of was. They had another charter. They got a lot of sponsorship money. They have 2 drivers, in my opinion. I like Gilliland a lot. I like Zane Smith a lot. Gregson, I think we're kind of at the end of his career in the Cup Series at this point. Really disappointed from Noah Gregson this season. But for Todd Gilliland, this could be a massive step forward, possibly going into the 2026 season. Hopefully it can translate, maybe pick up some top 5, more top 5s, more top 10s, hopefully make a playoff appearance from that 34 team.
Yeah.
Final shout out to me, Jake, this week. Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece finished 6th in this race. Preece, to me, has been very successful this season in 2025. I know RFK Racing, they all missed the playoffs this year, which sucks because RFK, when they're in the playoffs, are pretty fun to watch.
We were huge cheerleaders for them.
We were. Brad Keselowski. I'm always a Brad guy. But the one thing I will say with Preece, again, you talk about a breakout. It's tough to say breakout because he didn't win, but a much better season than anticipated. Preece had an average finish up to date of 15.88, 133 laps led, 3 top 5s, 13 top 10s. I'm going to keep eyes on the 60 going into the off season, see what changes that organization is able to do. Hopefully translate some stuff. Preece is a really good short track racer. He's a very good super speedway guy. Or, well, I wouldn't say he is, but the equipment's a very good super speedway equipment. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ryan Preece make a playoff run next year. I really want it.
Yeah, and I mean, going off of him, he was not an easy car to pass on Sunday.
No, he wasn't.
If you were watching him and they showed him a lot, he was not letting guys around him. You were fighting for that position. He was not an easy car to pass at all. I'm going to jump off of your. I'm going to give an honorable mention. I don't want anybody to forget about Christopher Bell.
Yes.
Because again, his post-race interview, he will just say we just weren't good enough. We weren't fast enough. We weren't good enough. There was one part of that race that he was in front of that 5 car. And he was not letting him around. And unfortunately, like he said, yeah, he wasn't fast enough. Larson got around him, and that was kind of the last page in the book. Wasn't catching him ever since there. But Christopher Bell, the beginning of the season, everybody was like, holy shit, this kid's got it. And then kind of fell up, but was always up there. Never really was like, where did Christopher Bell go type of person, but he will. I will put money on it. He's back in it again next year. That kid's got a shit ton of talent. He's on a really good team. He's got really good teammates, and I just want to shout him out. I think he raced a really good race in a car that just he wasn't happy with.
So it's interesting because we really didn't touch on Bell. I'm glad you brought him up because before we go into the championship preview, I'm glad you brought Bell up. So Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson was a big topic of conversation in regards to points on Sunday, right, at Martinsville. Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell in this playoffs. Kyle Larson made it on points. Kyle Larson's average finish this playoffs was 12.3 with 0 wins. Christopher Bell in this playoff run in 2025 had a 7.4 average finish with 1 win. You brought up what Christopher Bell did earlier this season. Bell had those 3 straight wins. Atlanta, Coda, Phoenix. Massively quiet the rest of the season. Massively quiet until the rest of the season, until the playoffs started. The difference between Larson and why Larson's racing on Sunday and Christopher Bell is not racing on Sunday is because Larson collected playoff points all throughout the season. Bell did not. Bell had a good car at times, but that was that. And it's a shame because it's like, all right, here we go. And this is, I guess, going back to the traditionalists. This is why I can understand and appreciate why they want the old playoff system back. You have a driver who had a 7.5 average finish in the playoffs, not racing for a championship 4, won at Bristol, but then you have a driver who had a 12.3 average finish in the playoffs with 0 wins. Our whole goal is what? To win races. Bell did that. And unfortunately...
it's hard to fight that. And you make a really, really, really good point. But I want to go back to your stage points. And, yeah, the Larson not finished. And I'm not defending Larson because it's my driver.
No,
this is anybody. At the end of the day, now, I'm not saying Christopher Bell is not a good race car driver at all, by any means, by what I'm about to say. But I think in this circumstance, this is where you separate a really good driver to a great driver.
Mm-hmm.
Larson, throughout the year, was winning stages or getting good stage points. At the end of the race, wasn't winning them, but if you compare the points that the guy who won the race got compared to him, he only got 1 or 2 points less. So I think that's where you separate a really good driver in Christopher Bell and a great driver in Kyle Larson. And I'm not taking anything away from Bell. It's a young kid. He's going to be a threat for a while. But, yes, when you look at the averages, does it make sense? No. Did Larson win in the playoffs? No. Bell? Yes. So people are probably like scratching their head, why? Why are the points so messed up? But again, like you said, if you go back and you dive into how we got here, it's going to show a really good to a great. And I think Bell's going to be a great driver.
But when you talk about, I'm looking at both driver stats while you're talking, both drivers' stat logs from 2025 season, right? And usually throughout the course of the season, we always keep up with the stats and the data and all that type of stuff. And usually when you have that much of a swing, right, in regards to average finish, usually one of the drivers has a really, really bad stretch. And when I mean a bad stretch, you have 5 straight weeks, you're just boom, 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 can't get out of your own way. And we see that a lot in the regular season. We've had multiple drivers do that. But I look at both Larson and Bell. Larson and Bell has not consistently finished below 20th in 2 back-to-back races all season long, which is remarkable. He's had finishes below 20th, he had one stretch, and that was the Chicago Street Course in Sonoma, or Atlanta and the Chicago Street Course, where he wrecked at Atlanta, and he finished 24th at the Chicago Street Course. That was it. Larson had a stretch where he finished twice below 20th in back-to-back races, and that was at Iowa and Watkins Glen. They both kind of mirrored each other. Yeah. The difference is that who was winning stage points. More stage points, puts it in the bank, can roll him into the playoffs, and that's where Larson ended up beating out Bell. And that's why the points were the way that they were.
And I also think, on top of your stage points, and you're going to have to fact check this, but I'm just going off the top of my head. And I know it's a dumb point that you earned, but at the end of the day, this might have caused it. When you have the fastest lap at a racetrack, you get an extra point. And I think Larson had a handful of them this year.
He did. I mean, that was that is the difference. That is the difference because the Xfinity fastest lap.
He came in last in that road course. What the heck was that?
Mexico City.
He had the fastest lap.
And he beat out SVG for the fastest lap because they did enough damage. They said, go out there on the track, go get yourself a playoff point for the fastest lap. And that's what he did. But like I said, I mean, it's insane though with how much of a usually, like I said, when we see two drivers at the points like differential the way that was, usually you see drivers basically have massive swings and like, all right, someone had a really bad stretch. Where can we
Mhm.
translate that? Like, where can you translate it, and where can we identify where the errors came from? Both drivers, they had bad finishes, but they were never back to back. They both had a 2 race stretch where they finished 20th or worse in the season, and that was it. Now, granted, they're very, the finishing below 20th. They've had other finishes below that, but they were separated at times. So it's not like you saw the driver struggle. Where, a guy like Ross Chastain won Charlotte, went out to Nashville, thought he was going to be a big threat, and then got really quiet during the end of the Amazon TNT stretch of the Cup Series season.
Mhm.
So again, I do believe that the Xfinity fastest lap definitely helped Larson a lot, and you could translate that. I mean, God, they're crazy. That Mexico City road course back in June, it's insane that something like that could impact Martinsville.
Yeah.
But I'll say this as my final statement for Martinsville. Martinsville is the final chapter of what the 20 of each season, right? Martinsville was just the final chapter of the 2025 season. That's all it was. And you had to read the whole book in order to understand and get where we are at going into Phoenix.
Yep.
So, all right. Phoenix.
It's going to be
Phoenix.
a hell of a race. It's going to be a fist fight to the end, and I am freaking stoked.
Well, going back to the opening statement on tonight's show, heavyweight battle, Joe Gibbs Racing, Hendrick Motorsports. It's funny, too. I was thinking about this before we jumped on air. When the next-gen car came into play, what was the one thing NASCAR kept advertising about the next-gen car?
I'm
We're
sorry.
gonna
I didn't hear what you said.
No, what did NASCAR advertise when they brought the next-gen car into play in 2022? There's going to be parity across the sport.
Yeah.
There was parity in the sport. 2022. In 2023, there was a little parity. 2024 started swinging to the top organizations. 2025, Destiny led you back to heavyweights.
Yep. Nah, it's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited. And this is me in general. This is why I love Tom Brady. Massive Tom Brady guy. I want to see the best of the best.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cute in the regular season. We had these cute stories all throughout 2025. We had cute stories, right? Hocevar. Yeah, he was running well. It was fantastic. It was fun. It was exciting. Didn't capitalize.
Nope.
Never capitalized. Ross Chastain. Love Trackhouse Racing. I believe what they're always doing. Love Chastain. Won Charlotte. Oh, here comes Chastain and here comes Trackhouse Racing. Not in the Final Four.
Nope.
Not in the Final Four.
Brad Keselowski.
Talk
High on him.
Racing.
For a few weeks. Huge fans pushing for him. Not racing for it on Sunday.
Yeah. Love RFK Racing. Love Brad going over there. Going to build a championship caliber organization. Gonna, hey, let's root for the underdog. He left the top dog to go to the underdog and build an organization from the ground up, which I do believe he's doing a great job with.
Yeah.
None of them are in the championship four.
Nope.
Here, one more. 23XI. Bubba Wallace. Feel-good story. Great story all throughout the season. Tyler Reddick. 23XI. Oh, man, these guys. And again, both of them had fantastic seasons. Reddick is 7th in the points. Bubba's 10th in the points. Bubba won a race this year. Both 23XI cars. They led the apps. It's exciting. Not a championship caliber team.
No. Might not be a team. But no, I agree. Yeah, no,
that's the point. But yeah.
No, but no, I agree. There were so many of these, like you're gonna take the words out of your mouth. Feel good moments, highs for people. Holy shit, we might see it. You get down to the nitty gritty. You got two teams that are the best of the best, and people still haven't proved they can beat them.
Exactly. I mean, and the only outlier I would say with that is Team Penske's right there.
Yeah.
With these two organizations. It's Team Penske's, Joe Gibbs Racing, Hendrick Motorsports. And guess who was all in the round of 8 this past season? Penske, Hendrick, Joe Gibbs. And again, talk about feel-good stories. Josh Berry won a race this year, folks. Josh Berry won Vegas in the 3rd race of the season. And my dumbass posted on Facebook, who would you rather have as your Cup Series driver moving forward? Josh Berry or Chase Elliott? Well, boy, oh boy, was I wrong. Prisoner of the moment, baby. But like you said, feel-good stories all throughout the season that you're excited about. It's like, wow, this is awesome. This is cool. This is great. This is, But at the end of the day, if you're not in one of those 3 organizations, and those 3 organizations have the resources, the funding to continue putting their cars into the elite category of the level, Penske, Gibbs, and Hendrick. And Sunday leads the road all leads to the 2 best organizations, in my opinion, in NASCAR, and Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports. Jake, it's going to be a hell of a heavyweight battle between the 2 organizations. I'm going to give you, who's your championship pick this week?
Well, I'm rooting for Hendrick Motorsports. So if it ain't Larson, it's got to be Byron. It's winning it for Mr. H. But unfortunately, and I think you would do the same if Elliott was in, I got to go with my boy.
I would.
I got to go with my boy. So if it ain't him, I'm going Byron. I'm a huge Hendrick fan this week. Either or, I'll be happy. Larson, I'll be ecstatic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
you're going to be the villain here. Here we go.
Of course I am. Of course I am. That's what I live for. That's what I live for. So, Chase Briscoe's won a race here at Phoenix in his career. His first ever one came here. Denny Hamlin's won a race at Phoenix back in 2019. William Byron has won a race here in 2023 in the fall or in the spring. Kyle Larson has won here in the spring or in the fall of 2023 or 2021.
Yep.
All 4 drivers have won here. All 4 drivers know what they're doing. My God, I'm going Denny Hamlin. I'm going Hamlin. I'm going Hamlin. Yes, sir. I'm going Hamlin with the win.
And there's one guy that can face adversity and know he's got a lot of weight on his back and can get into a race car and make it work. It's him. I mean, I can't be mad if he wins. I can't. The guy deserves it.
I am going Denny Hamlin.
But I can't root for him.
I am, and I'm excited. I am stoked. I feel like the monkey came off his back at Vegas, gets back in the championship 4. He's best friends with Michael Jordan. Break the fans' hearts. All that type of stuff. That's what I want. I want Hamlin to get that championship so bad. To get up there, get that championship. All you fans that sit there and cry and complain, oh, Hamlin doesn't have a championship. Well, he's got 60 freaking career wins. 61 career wins happens on Sunday with the trophy for the championship. I'm sorry. There's no
shot. I don't know if those wins mean a lot when you don't got a championship. How do you have all those wins and haven't won?
It's going to mean a lot on Monday when we're on the show again because, that championship trophy is going to be in that case. The championship, again, you're friends with Michael Jordan. Jordan always broke fans' hearts. Hamlin's going to be pep talked all week by his best friend. Joe Gibbs Racing Equipment. Oh, give me Denny Hamlin this week.
Struggled recently.
I say that. Bet the money line that he does not win. I'm going Denny Hamlin. I am. This is the year that he finally breaks through. And it would be a damn shame, though, if he breaks through with because Progressive's the sponsor this week on the 11 car, which they stepped up to the plate when FedEx walked out. But it'd be a damn shame if he didn't win in the FedEx car. It would be if you wanted in Progressive and not FedEx. I feel like it would be. It'd be awesome that he won it, but it'd be a damn shame because FedEx was so good to him for so many years. But I'm going Denny Hamlin. I like 7 times. He's been in this thing 7 freaking times in this position. And at this point, he has overcome probably the most. Now, a lot of fans may sit there and be like, well, Matt, he's been in it 7 times and he's failed 6 of those times. What makes you think 7's going to be successful with all the memories of him losing it in the back of his head? I will say this. I think that there's an in-race strategy that ends up panning out in this race for him. I was completely wrong about him and Chris Gale to start the season. I think that Chris Gale, I did not like the hiring of Chris Gale after the 2024 season. I didn't think that he was going to put Hamlin in this position. The two of them have absolutely worked together. They've done well together. I think that Chris Gale is the difference maker in him making it into the championship. I think analytics will go out the window in this race, and they're both going to go off gut instinct. I think, in my regards, I think Briscoe, while it's been a massively fun season from the 19, and I think that there is so much left in his career to come, I think Briscoe's inexperienced, and he's going to struggle in this race. I think Byron and Larson, I think that they don't finish ahead of the 11.
All right. But I'll go off the Briscoe. This is a stepping stone to a new and very successful career for him.
I agree. I mean, if Briscoe doesn't win it, you have to think, in my opinion, if Briscoe doesn't win it, you still have to be optimistic about what the 19 team did this year in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
I would say you have to be very optimistic going forward in the future with Chase Briscoe.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
As mentioned, folks, our next show is going to be on Monday night. My man Jake is traveling for work this next upcoming week, so we won't be on Wednesday. So we'll be with you right after the championship race, essentially on Monday night. So that's going to be pretty exciting. We're not going to let it float. It's going to be right there. We'll be with you right after on Monday. Tune in live to us on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're in. Again, that's going to take us to the checker flag on tonight's episode. So we appreciate everyone's love and everyone's support tonight on the Brooklyn Wilbury podcast. If you're listening to us live, feel free to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. We are going into the off season. So after next week's show, we'll be announcing our off season schedule. And again, like I said earlier in the show, special announcement. We have an opportunity for anyone that wants to get into NASCAR podcasting. We have a producer opportunity for you. Feel free to IM us at the Brooklyn Wilbury podcast if interested, or find us on Facebook, or find me on Facebook, Matt Codd, and IM me for if you're interested as well. So, all right, that's it. Phoenix, man, you've gone to the race. Enjoy yourself. If you're not, enjoy a championship weekend wherever you're watching. Jake, I think we should watch the Big Ten or the Big Noon Saturday game together. I'm still trying to beg you to watch Ohio State, Penn State with me.
Yeah. You got a better chance of Denny Hamlin winning on Sunday.
I was going to say, we can watch the Big Noon Saturday game, Ohio State, Penn State together, and then we can watch Ohio State pummel Penn State, and then we can watch Denny Hamlin win the championship together. That'd be amazing. That'd be a great weekend.
Sounds like a great weekend for you.
With all that being said, folks, enjoy your championship race weekend. We'll be with you live Monday night on YouTube and Facebook at 8 p.m. as usual. And with all that being said, have a wonderful night. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Enjoy your race weekend. We'll chat with you next week. Good night.
Yeah. Good night.